Hello, I'm sorry for the background noise, but I've had some people interested in how much it's costing us to go on the loop. And I've tried to compile our expenses and give you kind of an overview of what the loop costs. I hope this is clear. I'm sorry for the background noise. We're currently traveling down the Tennessee River and underway. And let's hope it's useful. All right, there are, as you can imagine, many variables that occur with regard to traveling on a boat and traveling on the loop. Not the least of which is how much is the boat going to cost? I would say, and this is just from the maybe 100 loop boats I've seen and met, or maybe a little more so far, that the boats generally range between, say, $75,000 and $1 million. And so look at that huge range. If you're on the top end of that range, your cost is going to be a lot more than if you're at the bottom of that range. So if it's a cash purchase versus a loan, that's going to possibly affect costs, but I would argue that the lost investment income is about, if not more, about the same, if not more than the interest you would pay on a loan. So those are going to be about the same. Let's just figure it's 5 or 6% per year of either lost investment income or 6% per year of interest expense. Insurance is a big variable too. It ranges from people I've talked to, and again, I'm not an expert on insurance, but just the people that I've talked to on the loop, anywhere from even less than $1,200 a year to up to $5,000 a year. Other things that are variable, it's do you like to eat at restaurants? Do you like to cook your own meals? Do you like to eat at expensive restaurants? Do you like to eat at budget-friendly restaurants? There's no right answer. It's just what's your style and what are you going to do on the loop, because that's going to affect your budget dramatically. How many people are on board to feed? That's going to affect. In our case, there's 2, so our example includes 2. Fuel economy of the boat is a huge driver of cost. If you have a boat that's capable of going fast, it's going to burn a lot more fuel going fast than going at trawler speed. So, I mean, as an example here, on my boat, which is capable of going fast, it's a fast trawler, fuel consumption can be up to 17.5 gallons per hour at about 20 miles per hour versus 1.7 gallons per hour at 7 miles per hour. And also, the cost will be affected if you have a diesel engine boat versus a gas boat, because diesel fuel and gasoline are different prices. Diesel's generally cheaper on the loop, from what I've seen, a little bit. The other thing that dramatically affects costs of your loop is, do you like to anchor out for free in a beautiful nature setting where you don't have access to showers and restrooms other than what's on your boat, and restaurants and shops and stores and groceries? Or do you like to stay at a marina every single night because you want to hook your boat up to power because you're running huge freezers and refrigerators and you want the air conditioning running all night, and you don't want to run your generator? All those kinds of things play into it. Some people do not want to stay anywhere but a marina for those reasons. And there's no right answer here either. We do a mix, as you will see. Probably 2/3 marinas, because we need to stop for supplies, we want to go to restaurants, and mostly because we want to see the town and see the sights, the attractions, museums, historical places to visit, those kinds of things. Or just the cute, beautiful towns like in Canada and in Lake Michigan. So that's going to affect dramatically how much you pay in slip fees. And it's basically like hotels. I mean, you can pay as little as $1 a foot, which on my boat would be $35 a night. to I've paid as much as $290 for one night at a slip in New York City. So, like a hotel, I would look at it as similar to a lower cost hotel, uh, depending on the location. So even a lower cost Fairfield Inn is going to be very expensive in New York City. So um, that might give you an idea of what slip fees will be. The other thing, do you like to shop and buy things in each town you go to? Do you like to go to museums, parks, attractions, and that require entrance fees? We went to the aquarium. It was like, I want to say like $50 a person. We went to a planetarium. We paid like $48 a person. Do you like to Uber to places? Do you like to rent a car and use it for a day or two at a marina? Do you like to ride a bike or walk to your grocery shopping? Then you can only buy what you carry back, which is generally what we do, but occasionally we Uber, as you'll see. So all of these things are why we can't say here's how much the loop costs. It's different for everyone, and there's no right or wrong answer. It's what do you like to do and what do you end up doing. Another thing is, do you have to buy a dinghy? If you're anchoring out a lot, you're probably going to want a dinghy to get to and from shore in that small craft. Do you have to buy a cheaper gas motor and keep gas, or do you want to buy a more expensive electric motor? That's going to add to your upfront costs. You may or may not require registration and insurance on that dinghy. A lot of these things are going to come into play. Another thing is lock fees. We came on an anniversary year on the loop, and both the Erie Canal and the Trans-Severn Canal in Canada were free without fees this year. But I think that it's probably several $100s for those who do it. Maybe you could plan on $100 a month if you have to pay for them, but I actually didn't have to pay them, so I don't know. Do you have to pay for any long-term mooring fees for a trip home for, say, 3 weeks or a month or 6 weeks or longer? And store your boat on the hard even, or in heated storage if it's wintertime and you're up north. So those costs are going to be variable. Flights for you and your spouse or you and your visitors to and from the boat. We happen to have 5 children. Each of them and our grandchildren are planning to visit us, and we're going to be helping pay for flights for them just as a gift. And so those costs. Again, rental cars for visitors if they need them. Do you want to buy e-bikes up front or e-scooters or regular bikes, or not have them at all and just walk and rely on Uber, or stay in the marina and don't even leave hardly ever? These are all variables that depend on if you like to get out. We have e-scooters that we use occasionally. If you've watched our videos, you see us riding those into town, into grocery and around state and national parks, etc. Repairs. This is a big one, and it varies dramatically because my boat has had basically no repair fees. Everything has been do-it-yourself. I've replaced a hose clamp. I got a little valve for $26 to fix the connector for the hot water heater. I bought oil filters, fuel filters, Racors, oil, that kind of thing, do-it-myself stuff. Versus if you hire a mechanic and on a bigger boat, you're going to have the boat pulled out. So you have to go to a bigger marina where they have a travel lift and lift the boat out, take it, put it on the hard, work on it, put it back in the water. That has expenses to it. So older boats, in my experience, have more repairs. It's not always the case. And more often repairs, and sometimes they're expensive. The blown engine, the fire in the engine, hull damage from hitting rocks, broken props, and just regular scheduled maintenance like I talked about with oil filter change and so forth, fuel filters. Just to give you an example of how our expenses shape out and kind of where they're going to be calculated from. In August, we spent 17 of 31 nights at marinas. In September on Lake Michigan, we spent 30 of 30 nights in marinas because of the beautiful, fabulous small towns and fun things to see and visit. In October, we spent 21 of 31 nights in marinas. And November, so far, we've spent 5 out of 14 nights at marinas. So you can see it varies by month and location and what your desire is. So there's no right or wrong answer. And again, restaurants versus cooking, expenses versus cheap. We generally get the more expensive meals. We like nice food. We do save our leftovers and eat them usually the next day for lunch. That's just something we like to do because it makes a really good quality lunch with good quality food. We eat about 7 of these nice meals for 2 out per week on average. That's about $100 average per tab with drinks and tip. All right, here's a spreadsheet with the costs we've incurred, estimated, not exact to the dime, so far in 4,000 miles on the loop. And this is monthly cost. So if you just estimate, and I'm saying this is pretty average from what I've seen, about a $250,000 boat purchase price. The lost income from that purchase or the interest cost for that loan is going to be roughly, let's say, $1,000 a month, $1,041. Insurance may be $1,400 a year in our case. It's $100 a month. Groceries, $900 a month. Restaurants, around $2,800 a month. Slip fees. Now, this is a hard one because it depends on if you stay in expensive slips or not, and the boat length is charged by the foot. So ours generally range between, like I said, around 35 to 40 to 290. I'd say on average around 75. And we average 22.67 days per month the first 3 months, which is around $1,700 a month for slip fees. Fuel, big variable. $4.50 a gallon if you count Canada and the East Coast and so forth, average for diesel. We've gone 4,000 miles at about 1.65 miles per gallon for a total cost so far $10,909 on fuel, which is $27.27 a month, roughly. Now this is a spreadsheet, so I can change these numbers, and it'll, like I can, if I slow way down and I get 2.5 miles per gallon, this would change, or if I speed up and get 1 mile per gallon. So you can obviously adjust that. You can adjust if you want to get $1 million boat, it's going to cost you $4,000 a month. If you want to get a $50,000 boat, it's going to cost you a lot less on the upfront cost. And then you can see the other things: parts, maintenance, entertainment and museums, shopping and gifts, lock fees, Uber car and rental, our flights for visitors for all of our kids and grandkids for a year, our registration fees on the vessel, roughly about $12,000 a month for us. I'm thinking that's actually possibly low, and I can't figure out what we're missing, but at this point, that's a very good idea if you do it like we do, and everyone does it differently. I'm sure there's people who can do it way less than this, and there's people who are spending easily double what I'm spending. So, for example, on repairs, I've got friends who have damaged their propellers. Spent $22,000 on propeller repairs and damage. People that have had an engine fire. Luckily, insurance covered that. It was $100,000 damage. So you can have costs that will come up that are unpredictable. But this is what we've actually been spending on around 4,000 miles of travel. I sure hope this is helpful. Again, there's no right or wrong way to do the loop. You do it your way. This is just kind of give you an idea of what it costs. I hope that helps.